Hi, welcome to DramaMeans. We're going to talk about what we're watching right now. Today, Drama means current business, Drama means fork in the road, and Drama means starting too many dramas before finishing any of them.
So instead of a summary today, I guess there's not really much of a summary, but we're going to tell you what exactly we're watching, how many episodes we've made it through each drama, a little bit about them and what we think, and whether or not we're really excited to keep watching them or dreading every single minute.
Yeah, we're going to start this episode with Love of Nirvana. It's a 2024 Chinese costume drama starring Alan Ren and Landy Lee. We got about 7.5 episodes.
A half episode, you say?
It was I'm watching it, and then I'm like, I don't feel like watching this anymore. I'm going to watch a variety show.
Very rarely do we stop anything mid-episode. Like, I'm normally like, no, if you start an episode, if you start a show, like, you have to get through that episode. I have no problem walking away from a series. But I have watched pilots where I'm like, how many minutes is left of this? 17? Okay, I can make it 17 minutes. 2 minutes later. How many minutes is left of this? 15? Oh my gosh.
It's not as bad as we're making it sound. It's just I find, well, first of all, I have not been in the mood to watch like any of the dramas that have been out. The only thing currently that's giving me actual joy watching are BLs at the moment. Like I've been in such like a lull of watching like any kind of drama. Like I haven't been like any of the new rom-coms that are out, any of the costume dramas, it's just.
I think I was also feeling a little bit of costume drama fatigue. And then a few of them we watched in a row, like the first couple episodes just felt like so generic. It's like, let's do another generic costume drama with these two actors we like. And there was like no premise and no point. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, you can't see her face. And then he sees her face and he falls in love. Like, it just felt like trope. So I think that's also like, I'm partly to blame for that.
Well, so here's the thing. I watched one episode, Love in the Desert, and it was so terrible that I was like, I'm going to watch Love of Nirvana instead. And I started watching it. It's actually not that bad. It's just my main gripe for me is that Alan Ren does the same character no matter what he's in, no matter modern or, costume or whatever. Like, it's the same character. And I'm kind of sick of seeing that. And honestly, like, he's kind of one note for me. And I know a lot of people love him. He's super popular. I don't feel it. I don't get it. So he himself takes me out of it.
Is he one of those actors, like, I think I always give The Rock a really hard time because everyone loves The Rock. Everyone loves Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but I keep reminding people he's never done an iconic role. Like, you think about big-time actors and how many iconic roles someone like Keanu Reeves has. And then The Rock has none. Like, not one. Where you're like, you know what, that iconic, knock it out of the park. Like, oh man, no one else could have done this. And like, this guy's kind of like that, don't you think? Like, just kind of, he does a fine job. It's just, yeah, it's fine.
Well, I do have to say that Alan Ren is better than The Rock, acting-wise.
Whoa. Let's hold the phone.
Dude, The Rock is just playing The Rock. Like, he's just playing himself.
Well, yes.
Like, at least Alan Ren actually plays a character, even though it's the same character no matter which character he plays. But whatever it is. I prefer Landy Lee. That's kind of why I started watching it, is I feel like she can do more versatile roles. She can do comedic, she can be lively, she just can pull most characters off. It's just, And also, like, Jeremy Tsoi, like, he he's really good, and he's actually perfectly casted for this role. He does scare me a little. Like, if I were her character, um, I would be running away from him. Like, I do not trust him.
Right.
You know, and she shouldn't trust him because he is manipulative, and he is using her, you know, to try to lure the other guy out, to Ellen Wren's character out. So, yeah, but it's just like, at this point, I haven't even gotten to the point where, like, Alan Wren or Landy Lee like each other. The thing is, scene one, first episode, Alan Wren stabs her in the fucking heart.
Yeah, that's that's a relationship hurdle.
So, like, even afterward, even if he's like the nicest guy ever, like, I can't get over that. Like, so, like, if so, you're only nice to the person that you start liking. You're just not a nice person, whatever. But, like, obviously his character is more complex, and there's, you know, he has all this emotional baggage, and then, like, the baggage of his whole country on his shoulders kind of deal. But, like, I don't know. I feel like we've kind of seen the story before. I do like that they don't start out like, ooh, he's so good looking or whatever, you know, like, it is such
not cutesy.
Yeah, it's not cutesy. Maybe there will be after episode 7.5.
But let's be real, like, the real reason you're not connecting with it is there's no chemistry. There's no chemistry between the leads.
I don't feel it yet.
7.5 episodes in.
Yeah.
Like, don't you have to have something, even if you are going to start slow and you're not going to start off, like, wooing each other and swooning over each other? There has to be, like, sparks and moments that you're going, okay, that's what you're promising me for later.
Yeah. Honestly, they're building more of those moments with the Marquis, Jeremy Tsoi's character.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't care.
But that's ultimately what it's about. If you don't care, it doesn't matter how pretty the costumes are and how amazing the CG is or the action or even how good the acting is. If they can't get you to care, you give up halfway through an episode and go, meh, I'll watch something else.
Yeah. And it's just like, it felt a little taxing and tiring for me. So that's why I'm like, you know, I'd rather watch a variety show, which, like, lately I've been watching a lot more variety shows than dramas, which is probably why we're doing this episode and not, like, full on episode of, you know,
reviews.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with this because now there's going to be 2 new costume dramas that's going to start airing. One starts on the 9th, which stars Joseph Zhang and Li Qian. And then another one starts the next day on the 10th.
But you probably won't continue watching this one because there are better ones in the pipe, is what you're saying.
Yes, I'm waiting for this weird summer lull where, like, you know, they air a bunch of crap. And
well, they got to clean out the closets. They got to clean out the garbage, and then they'll get back to making good shows.
What I'm actually waiting for is, like, Story of Pearl Girl. I don't know if that's really the title, but Zhao Lucy's new drama.
We'll call it Story of Pearl Girl or whatever.
Yeah, and with my favorite, Liu Yuning, and I'm waiting for that one. And I'm also waiting for Under the White Olive Tree, which is starring Chen Zhiyuan and Liang Jie. Those are the 2 that I'm, like,
there you go,
waiting for.
So any predictions for this one? Like, how do you think this one is go? Like if you had to make a bold prediction about how the drama of this particular love of Nirvana would unfold, like, what do you think? They all die at the end? I think they all die at the end.
I think at least she's gonna die.
She can't have... She's in a love triangle with the 2 dudes. Well, the girl's gotta die.
Yeah.
And then they both get to mourn her side by side and become bosom buddies.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to end.
I don't know. I don't see anything. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it'll be really good and I'm missing out, but.
They're going to become best friends, the men.
Uh-huh.
And she's going to die. And then they're going to both be at her graveside in the last episode. And then they're going to have a special episode you have to pay for where she walks up between them and she slaps them both on the butt. And now they're in a throuple.
I am very much for this throuple.
Maybe they'll have some chemistry. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Kidnap, a 2024 Thai BL, which we're 5 episodes in.
Yes. So the 6th episode airs on Friday. So we are like very up to date and current on this one. I do have to say that episode 5 pissed me off. And even before that, well, okay, Ryan has thoughts of it because he's like, what the fuck in episode 1. But
I just don't know how you do a love story between someone who's held a gun to your head. Like, I'm sitting in a chair and a dude puts a gun against my head, and then as an audience member, I'm like, you know who's going to be in love later? These two. I get it. There's circumstances, and the guy is supposed to kill him, and he doesn't kill him. I get it. It's very heightened. But I'm still like, wait a minute. These two are the couple? He's got a gun to his head, and he's tied to a chair. I would be pretty unforgiving, I must say.
Okay, yes, in real life, I agree. But also, he would have died if it wasn't, okay, so if it was not Min who was the kidnapper, right? It was someone else, he would have died. It was Min who decided to fake his death and save him. He was fucking terrible at it, and he's stupid. That's also a problem, because right now the characters are so bumbling and, like, have no idea what the fuck they're doing with, like, no brains.
Listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't write him a thank you note. I just don't know if I would be in a relationship with him. I'd be like, thank you, sir. I bid you adieu. Like, George Carlin has a great joke where he talks about crazy guy looks at 2 people and goes, I'm going to kill these guys. Nah, I'm not going to kill them today. Wow, man changes his mind and saves 2 lives. I don't give the guy that much credit for that.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway.
There were some cute little, like, tension moments that I liked. But, so there was a scene where Min basically goes, rides his Harley or motorcycle or whatever to Q's house and delivers a ransom note, a ransom letter, right? And by this time, Q has asked me to basically continue the kidnapping, right? And he's like, I'll give you all the money, all the ransom money, and as long as you send this letter to my dad. I thought, the way they cut it was, he approached the gate and got off the bike, and it felt like he rang that doorbell instead of putting it in the mailbox. Later, they do show that he slips the letter in the mailbox, but I thought that they were doing, like, one of those, like, oh, I'm not going to let you see what happened then, and then later cut back to it, and, like, he actually had a full face-to-face conversation with Q's dad.
Yeah.
And that Q's dad is basically like, let's just play along with Q's little, like, kidnap plan, because he's safer at your house, and you just watch him for me, and you also help me kind of get in with this lady that is basically trying to kill Q and the dad. Right? So I thought that was going to happen, and then because it so happens that Min gets hired to be the lady's, like, little bodyguard kind of thing, and I'm like, that's fucking perfect. It would work so well if, like, the dad had planned it where, you know, Min was going to infiltrate this and be his undercover, right? It would work well. It would make Min proactive. It would undo this whole, like, dumb kidnapping bullshit instead of this weird convoluted other shit, right? It just, it's just logical, honestly, in my opinion. But what happens is we find out, weirdly, out of nowhere, they reveal that Papang is the undercover cop who is like literally the lady's like second in command.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of power for an undercover, but okay.
Yeah. So it just feels like, well, you gave us none of that. There was nothing. It's so out of the blue. And also, if that were really the case, it was revealed way too freaking early. Like, it just, now everything after that is like fluff and fizzled.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with revealing it too late, though, is that you're going to have this character who's an undercover but has to look like a bad guy for a really long time, and then you have to start questioning all of his bad guy logic. And like, you're like, wait, in that scene where he was by himself with Q and he beat the living shit out of him, why did he do that if he was a cop? Like, you have to start answering for all that logic, which gets real messy real fast.
Yeah, that's why I feel like he shouldn't have been the undercover.
So I agree with you. I think that's correct.
I think it should be the one who's like in it and like helping Q and Q's dad, and then it just like it justifies his bad decision in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, you need to put your main characters in the middle of everything. Like, however you can that makes sense. If you have an opportunity to put your character with, in the center of the fire, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And it sounded like they had the ingredients, just didn't do it.
It just, it's weak. And I feel like they just don't. I feel like a lot of times with these dramas is the problem is they just care about what is cute, how they can put the two leads in these situations without really thinking like what is actually logical, what actually works, and what is smart. And I think they failed in that part. And the thing is, like, it also makes like, oh well, Mean is there undercover, and then when Q shows up at the club, it really like throws a monkey wrench in like Mean's plans and the dad's plans, and it could really affect like their outcome and their, and it's just more tense that way. But to find out, that Papang is like all helping them, it's just like it makes that tension release too soon, I feel. Also, fucking Q's character is annoying as fuck.
Well, there's that.
Yes. Well, it's just, okay, I get it. He needs character growth. He is very bratty. He's a rich kid. He is, like, young. So he's also, like, whiny. Right? And he doesn't think things through at all. Again, I feel like most of the characters in this are really stupid right now.
Right.
So no one's smart.
But it's probably because they're not prioritizing like you said, they're prioritizing the cute moments between the two, and they're not really thinking out, as a logic monster goes, of what all these people will do. And we've talked about it before of like, if you make a show that's a comedy, you put the comedy first and then everything else is backseat. And if you're making a show that's an action, you put the action first and everything else is the backseat. And it sounds like romance is driving the car. The cute moments are driving the car, and they're just not paying enough attention to everything else.
Yeah. I also don't really think there was enough romance in it.
Well, maybe they don't even have a car then. They're not driving a car at all. Metaphors geld.
Like, they have little bits and pieces that was, like, good in terms of, like, Mean, like, helping Q and, Q having, like, traumatic nightmares and stuff, and like, Mean being there. Right now, though, I just don't really know what Q has to offer.
Right.
So, it's...
Maybe you'll find out. Maybe it'll go deeper.
Yeah.
How many more episodes is there left? There's 5 episodes you've been through.
I believe it's 12 total. So,
right, so they're almost halfway there.
Yeah.
They got to pick up the pace.
Yeah. But also, like, we're not really. I hope they just give us more romance at this point, because their police work and all this like weird underground stuff, which I welcome, because I'm sick of those university ones, because where everyone's just like a college student. But they need to do better. They need to really think about like what police actually do, like what this issue is, like how to look smart, how to be smart. Um, and I don't think they did it. I think they just slapped it together, and then also like there's still not enough romance. So I feel like it's a little lacking. I'm still gonna continue watching it.
But what do you think's going to happen? You think they're going to right the ship, or do you think it's going to be kind of more of the same throughout the end?
I don't think anyone's going to do anything smart. I think it's just going to like unravel, and then it's going to be, the cop stuff is going to be just super messy and not make sense at all.
So we're hoping for more romance to cover all that up with lots of romance catch-up, so we don't realize that the hot dog is not very good.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
I predict I'm going to give it like, step out for fresh air, but
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll do a full episode of that at some point and talk more about it and see if we come back to it and have a much more favorable opinion.
I hope they prove me wrong. So our next show that we want to talk about is Fourever You, and this is a drama that, if you follow us on Instagram, I had posted like, I am very excited for this one. And they finally started airing. Only one episode is out. I believe, we're recording earlier, so the second episode will will come out tomorrow. Anyway, I was excited because I really like Earth. I really like Pond. I'm excited for a new pairing. I know everyone loves Earth and Santa, or, Earth and Nine, but I really welcome this new pairing. Both actors are very good actors, which is a problem with episode 1, because I don't think they were displayed as good actors in episode 1.
Well, some actors need good directors, good filmmakers, and also if it's a new pairing, they might need time to get their chemistry right, but also it just sounded like there was a little bit over the top. Like, it's just not really grounded performances, kind of going big, and maybe they'll settle into it.
The thing is, yes, it is. They definitely play to the comedy of it and the very over the top aspect of it, but there can be an over the top comedic way to do something where you don't seem like you're just not a good actor. Like the over excessive, like messing with your hair and pulling it out, like it's so, and like Earth in episode 1 like pulls his face a lot.
Like physically pulls his face?
Like I think he was trying to be really cute and frustrated at the same time, and it just came off as like not good acting. And of course Earth is really good with emotional like stuff, so maybe like comedy isn't really his forte, but it's very like puffing out his cheeks and
right.
like squishing his lips, and and it's just like
over face acting.
Yes. The thing is, you don't see that from Pond, which I know his character's more like aloof and like the cool guy, so you don't see that. And
it's more stoicism. It's a little easier to play anyway. Like when you're supposed to go big, it's hard to go big. That's why it always scares me. If anyone has ever written like the actor is drunk, like it scares me to death what the actor is going to show up with and do to be drunk, and you're like, oh man, this could be real bad.
Yeah.
So when you're asking actors to go big, you might not get exactly what's in your brain.
I hope episode 2 will be better. I actually am excited for every single pairing. Like Earth is paired with Pond, Baz is paired with Maxky. I'm not expecting much from Baz. He's never been that good of an actor. But I do like the pairing, and I'm excited to see new chemistry, because for like it's been a really long time, and Baz hasn't been paired with, anybody. So, I am a little disappointed that Q, which is like a previous pairing of Bever, or I don't think it's Beaver, I think it's Bever. They had like a different little short mini series kind of thing, and they were like kind of side characters and other stuff. So I'm excited for new chemistry all around. There is something Mix and Tor were in absolute zero. They're both in this drama, but they're definitely not one of the main couples, and I don't know if they're going to be some kind of like a short little wink at their pairing at all.
Well, it seems like in the way that they've been doing things lately is they put them in this, they wink at it, and then they do a whole nother series that features their characters at a later time.
That's true. That could happen. But yeah, so I know I'm gonna finish it. Even if it's bad, like it has to be really severely bad for me not to finish this. I'm going to finish it, and I really, 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 really hope that Earth and Pond can like live up to my expectations. But I also predict that I'm probably going to give it an onboard karaoke because I don't have that much of high hopes for it.
So tentatively curious, but not thinking it's going to be the best thing you ever watch.
Yeah. I also, even, so first of all, this is produced by Wabi Sabi. It has New listed as the director, and there's like two directors. I don't actually think New directed this. I think the other director is the main director. Maybe New will give pointers and stuff, but I really don't think, or maybe he just does like a few scenes here and there. I don't think he's like fully the main director of this. With that said, it's not like maybe this director just isn't that good, but also I never really thought New was that good. I know people like I'm gonna get more hate because
you've talked about this before though.
Yeah. I think New is good at building tension in the beginning, and then it goes to shit and nothing is cohesive because he is a director that does not know how to transition scenes.
Right. They just kind of line them up and knock them down.
Yeah. But he's done previous stuff that's really good, but also even though he's listed in every single Wabi Sabi project, he may not be the director.
Yeah, it happened. I mean, again, I don't know the structure of these Thai shows, whether or not director means the same thing there as it means here, or does it director also means, showrunner.
Yeah.
Is what we would call it here. If you have a showrunner, it doesn't mean you write every single episode, but you're kind of responsible for every single episode. So I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
But it's very possible that just because someone's name's on something, like acting producers, doesn't mean that you necessarily are that involved.
Yeah. Okay. So our next show is called The Gift of Your Heart, which is a 2024 Japanese drama.
And this from the outset, we're one episode in.
Yeah.
And this from the outset looks like it is going to try to be very sad. I'm just like, every scene I'm like, sad tragedy coming for this one. Yes, sad tragedy on its way. Sad tragedy train leaving the station.
The thing is, usually Japanese dramas do sad tragedy really well. I know, like, neither of us are actually that in the mood to watch a sad drama, but if it's good, I'm fine with it. My issue is this Grim Reaper character is so cheesy and cringe to me, and I just wish they made it, like, less hokey with the whole, like, giving you, a miracle. And
yeah, it was strange.
Yeah.
Like, the approach is strange, and the fact he's, like, hanging out randomly in a couple scenes, like, I don't really understand why he's in any of the scenes he's in until he, like, makes her the deal to be like, trade your senses for his heart, and then blah, blah, blah. I'm going to set up this tragic tableau that we're now going to have to watch.
Yeah.
So it just felt like, if you're going to give me a wonky premise, give me the wonky premise as early as possible and as fast as possible so I can just swallow it down and then decide whether I like it and continue to watch. But when you kind of dole out the wonkiness of this Grim Reaper and this promise, by the end I was like, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I am a little annoyed that Ame, like, told Tayo not to contact her anymore. And then, like, literally they had this 10-year promise, and then they, like, haven't seen each other in 10 years. Like, what a waste of fucking time. Like, you wasted 10 years not communicating with somebody just to come back and see him die in front of you. Like, this is why I'm like, just like, go for it and not, like, regret, you know?
But aren't we going to talk about the second 10-year promise? Like, the idea is before the show has started, they've made a 10-year promise that they're going to reunite when they're both kind of where they want to be career-wise. And then neither of them are at that point. And that's kind of what the first episode is about, is coming to terms with the fact that neither of them are where they want to be. And there's a version of this first episode that's like 7 minutes long. Like, that's all that really happens, is that both of them have to come to terms. Well, I'm not who I want to be. Well, I'm not who I want to be. And they're like, you know what? Let's fix ourselves and meet again in 10 years. Like, wait, we're going to play this game for another 10 years?
Yeah.
How much time do you think you have on this earth that you can just be throwing away decades?
Yeah. So, like, you guys both clearly care for each other and, like, romantically like each other, and you're wasting 10 years of not communicating and seeing each other, and then you're gonna waste another 10 years of not communicating and seeing each other. I'm like, can't you guys work on yourselves together at the same time together?
I just don't buy. We've talked about this in episodes past. I don't buy in a digital age that you have to work on yourself and that a phone call to a friend or a romantic interest would derail you so deeply. Like, what kind of weak character are you that you're like, you know what, I'm going to go off and I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to focus on my thing, but if I even hear from you, if I even hear your name, it is going to just derail me and I'll be so distracted. Oh, sack up.
But literally, like, what they are for each other is the, like, motivation. So literally what you want to do is cut off your motivation.
Well, it obviously worked so well the first time.
Exactly.
They cut off their motivation. They're both a couple of losers.
Yeah, I don't understand why, like, dramas really like this dumb, like, or think that this, like, not seeing each other for 10 years is romantic.
Yeah. I think by definition, it's not. Because you would never make a show where your two leads are separate for 10 years. And it's just a show about him wanting to be a fireworks guy and her wanting to bake pastries. And they just exist apart for no one would watch that show.
Yeah.
So the fact that we wouldn't watch it, why is it even part of the story?
Yeah. So I have every intention of dropping this.
I don't know if I can watch more of it, to be honest.
I did, while trying to kind of look up the characters and stuff and preparing for this episode, I had noticed that the Grim Reaper's little assistant, Chiaki, has a second name. And her last name is the same as Tayo's last name. So I'm wondering if she has anything to do with, like, this miracle happening anyway. So, I'm not sure, because I don't know if I'm going to watch more of it, but that does kind of intrigue me to maybe want to continue watching it for another episode or two just to see, but I don't know. I really don't. I'm not really feeling it.
Have fun.
So we'll see. We'll think about that.
The next one here is another Japanese drama that we've also watched one episode of it, and I'm going to butcher the title. It's Re-Revenge at the End of Desire. Is that really the title of this?
Yes. Well, I mean, this is the English translated title.
Yeah, they should have worked better on the English translation, because that's a terrible title for basically what is a medical family drama.
Yeah.
Like, it's a family drama in the medical world.
It's basically like a fight for inheritance kind of type drama.
It's like Succession meets pick your hospital drama. Grey's Anatomy.
Well, we don't even know if there's really any kind of medical, like medicine part of it.
No, I don't doubt there'll be something, because he'll have to go to work and be part of the hospital, and he'll have to do a good job at being part of the hospital. But it does seem much more in like they're going to be building new wings of the hospital, and they're going to be dedicating breaking ground on things like hospital administration.
Yeah.
All the really fun parts of a hospital is dealing with insurance and building buildings.
Yeah. So right off the bat, Kaito annoys me, which is really hard for me to say because I really like Akaso Eiji. You know, he was in Cherry Magic, and so this was one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it. I was also like a fan early on in the news era. Rio's, fan because he's known to be a good actor. I do think he will give a good performance in this one.
I don't think the performances will be the issue of this. I think it's a matter of setup here. I think that's the reason he's so annoying. It's not his acting. It's the material. It's, I hate you, Dad, and I want nothing to do with you, Dad. Yet you've only shown the audience that the dad's not really that bad of a dude.
Yeah.
And it's all miscommunication because Kaito's character's kind of a pig-headed idiot.
Yeah,
and
but
so
even if you really have, the thing is, again, they've only showed pretty good moments of when Kaito has had, a good time with his dad, like dad being good dad. They haven't shown dad being bad dad at all, yeah. Right? But then Kaito is so mad and hates him so much. But even if you do, and you find out that your dad is in the hospital, it's weird that the way he behaves is literally like, oh, I wish my dad would die. Which that is it's crazy.
But I could almost buy it if we got to see any bit of bad dad. If dad caused mom's death, if something dad did cause mom's death, then I get it. And you're just like, okay, I get it. You hate him. But you have to demonstrate something to us. And if you're holding that back for episode 2, 3, 4 down the line, it's too late. Like, you want me to be on Kaito's side, you have to let me empathize with him.
Yeah.
And there's no empathy his way at the beginning of this.
Yeah, and literally, the only thing that they've shown is the aunt being, really bad and annoying. So then it's and he's mad mainly because of her.
Yeah.
So it's so weird for us to see him be so mad at his dad. I get, wanting to step away and not have to join this fight, and fight the aunt, but his relationship with his dad shouldn't be as estranged as they're showing. First of all, Kaito doesn't feel human at all. Most of the characters right now don't feel human.
They're really caricature.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah. And it's just, it's not logical. I don't think it's what humans would do. It's just and then the aunt is so over the top.
You know what I kept thinking of when I watched this? I kept thinking of this as a Japanese drama that's trying to be a K-drama. The big family rich, those just very classic Korean dramas where, the acting is big and you have the angry patriarch and you have the scheming guy and everyone is just playing an archetype. This felt like a Japanese drama trying to be that and ending up kind of halfway in the middle with one foot on each. It was trying to be understated at times. And I was like, I don't know if this thing has its tone quite in order yet.
Yeah, I personally think they're trying to be like a manga. And I'm wondering if this is based off of a manga or not. I'm not sure. But it's also just so everyone is so fake. Even the aunt character really gets on my nerves. But the same woman plays Ame's mom in the other Japanese drama,
Uh-huh.
Gift of Your Heart or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's also like kind of bad and over the top in that one too, like a little bit better because she's at least a nicer character, but like, and I've seen her in other stuff, and she always plays those like kind of over the top characters.
Like, to me, they're trying to set a tone like this, and it's not quite working for me yet, but I do think, like, I know from a writing standpoint what they wanted to do with Kaito's character. They want to bring him in, he says mean things to his dad dies, so he can have a crying scene and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said those awful things to my dad, and now I must spend the entire series redeeming myself. I just wanted them to give him a reason for all these things, because right now he just seems kind of like a douche.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get over that.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to get over that. And especially because I think you're right. I think the whole thing is going to be very over the top. And I don't think it's going to change much in that aspect.
Yeah. And I think like, right now there's a misdirect of like Rio's character is like the bad guy coming in to steal the company, the hospital. But I think that the dad had called him in a favor to have him basically train and guide Kaito and, becoming a good leader and things like that. But I'm just like, I don't know if I'll make it to watch that.
Yeah, so do you think we finished this show?
No. Which is really sad because we haven't finished anything in a long time.
I mean, I will give it a shot. I will say, like, at least they set up some dynamics and things, so I'll give it a shot. But I also don't have a lot of faith of this doing what it should be good at well.
Yeah.
We talk about a romance show not doing action well. And you're like, you know what? If you just give me a whole heaping pile of romance, I'll forgive you for the shitty police work. But if your thing is going to be like medical family drama, Succession-esque, battle over the rights of this hospital, you better do that really well.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to focus on the wrong thing. I think they're going to focus on like small emotional moments in the chaos of things that won't make much sense.
Yeah. So I predict maybe watching 1 or 2 more episodes, but I don't know if I can stomach the whole thing. Our next drama is something that we both are really enjoying right now. It's one of the only ones that, there are other few ones that we are enjoying, but like...
Finally some good news in this episode.
I know. So we are really enjoying Peaceful Property. It's a 2024 Thai drama. It stars New and Tae, but it's not a BL.
Yeah, it's not a BL. And they're playing such... the last thing I've seen them, I'm not as familiar with them as you are, but the last thing I see them was the remake of Cherry Magic, where they played such different characters from what they're playing in this, that it's sad to say it, but the more I watch this, the more I'm like, oh yeah, Cherry Magic, what a waste of time. Like, I just didn't like their characters in Cherry Magic. I thought they were miscast. I didn't really like them in those roles. I tried to like the show. I like the Japanese version so much better. But in this show, I really love these two.
Yeah, they're really good. And like, New's comedic timing is so perfect.
He gets to be a ham, too. He just gets to have fun.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're both really natural in this one. They're both having fun. Like, Tae's character's more like reserved and like scared, but like they're just good in it. And I haven't seen Tae really good in anything since the remake of that Korean drama. Fuck, I forgot the name. Whatever.
It's fine. No, I really like them in this, and I honestly think like this is a case where the comedy's a priority. It's a little over the top. It's about ghosts, and it's got kind of a weird setup. Oh, I own all these properties now that are haunted. Come, please help me unhaunt my houses. It's a simple premise, but then it does some kind of really good thematic work in the middle of it. And they do some nice reveals where you're like, oh, I didn't actually think they were going to go there here. And so it's a little deeper than just surface slapstick. But I really love all of the characters. Like,
Yeah.
I think the girl that like basically hosts their YouTube show about is it Pang Pang?
Yeah.
Like, she is very charming to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I love her. I love Jan. Like, she was back in the day like Sodus, you know?
Yeah.
And she's proven that she can do most characters.
Yeah, she's just I think everyone's just fun and has really embraced their role in it. And so it's like an enjoyable watch. Is it the deepest thing in the world? Is it something that's going to really make you think? Probably not. But is it something you can turn on? It's the perfect summer show to me.
Yes.
Where it's like, let me just turn my brain off, watch the show. It's delightful. It's not all that serious. Yes, it's about ghosts and it's about redemption. And there's characters that are really, you know, they have to pull at their heartstrings, but they're not really trying to pull at heartstrings as much as they're trying to just bring these characters together.
Yeah. Just the chemistry, like I've watched Tainu from the beginning, and in my opinion, I always thought like, oh, their chemistry acting wise was not very good. Their chemistry all comes from like variety shows when they're just like hanging out as friends together, like everywhere, like going wherever, like they just have such like good chemistry and camaraderie, and you know, whatever it is, like they're really good together. This is the first one where I'm like, oh yeah, this is them. This is very, very natural, and you just see like why people really like their chemistry.
Because it's more bromance than romance. Let's just be honest.
Here's the thing, like everyone loves their previous work together. Most of their characters, you know, from like back in the day, their Tay's character super toxic and angry all the time, just like fucking flies off the handle, and you know, very like domineering, you know. And then there's like Cherry Magic, where he's, you know, very like mild mannered, but like again, like they had to live up to expectations, so I don't think they were that comfortable in it. And they're playing characters that are like really like both timid actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so it didn't feel as natural. And in this one, they feel so natural and so good. And they're not like playing someone else's character. They're playing like characters that they developed for themselves.
Yeah.
So it just works. And finally, Tay's not playing a toxic character where he just like literally bullies New's character in the previous ones, like it's like Dark Blue Night, and then like because Dark Blue Night was like a spin-off and all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway,
really worth a watch. Like we're 6 episodes in.
I'm enjoying it so much.
I enjoy when it's like, hey, there's another episode up, and it's like, oh yeah, let's watch it. We usually watch it the day of.
Yeah. Well, there's a new episode we haven't gotten to yet, but it's up.
Well, then we'll go watch it.
Yeah. So, oh, also I have to mention, I freaking love like the fact that New and his bodyguard, Suderek.
He's my favorite character. He doesn't say anything. He's my favorite character.
It's just like, you know, them like taking turns putting their feet on each other and then like fucking taking a bath together.
Well, but also it is pure comedy. Like, yes. The way it's shot, you see New's character like in the bath by himself, and then it widens out, and Sidorak just in the corner, like, yes, sir? Just like, wait, he's in the bath with you?
It's fucking awesome.
It's very, very funny in that way.
Fun.
And he's just always there, and he always pops up at funny times, and he doesn't have a lot to say, this character, but they do use him for maximum impact, and I think they use all the characters the way that they are supposed to use them.
Yeah. So my predictions for this one is that we're going to continue loving it, unless they royally fuck up, which I don't think. I predict I'll give it in the buffet line, but I'm hoping I'm hoping they do something really like poignant and meaningful at the end, and then I would love to give it Drinks on a Pool Deck.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it continues to trend upward and, get funnier and deeper if that's even possible, which is a hard thing to do. But it's been enjoyable so far.
Yeah. And there are things that we have like watched and dropped and we haven't like talked about it. Some are Love in the Desert, which I had mentioned earlier. I watched one episode and it was so terrible that I'm like, no, it's not happening. And it's not worth talking about because it's that bad. Battle of the Writers. I know people do like the couple. It's just they've never been given a good project, in my opinion. And I wanted to see them in better projects. Strange Tales of Jiang Cheng, which I love, Sha Ziguang, but he was in Spy Realm.
Mm-hmm.
This is similar to Spy Realm, but it's like set in the Republican era. It's kind of a mix between like My Roommate is a Detective and Spy Realm put together. My main thing is I don't like Caesar Wu.
Okay.
He's just, I don't like him, man. Like a lot of people think he's really good looking. I don't care. Like his characters are always the same, very like fiery and like flies off the handles without having any like justification for it. So that turned me off. And then like the cases are kind of dumb and generic. And then Midnight Romance and Hagwon, it's just so boring about tutoring school. Like Hagwons are very, very popular in Korea, and it's like basically helping kids like pass all their exams and stuff.
Sure.
And being the top and the best of the best, you know? And this is like about teachers like fighting for clients and students and stuff. It was like, and
who cares?
I wish they would just give us romance because all the school shit, I'm like, fuck, I don't care. So yeah, drop that. My Military Valentine, it's where it's like in a world where North and South Korea has like unified.
But then there's still spies going back and forth and they're infiltrating and they're, it's kind of like the war underneath the war after the war kind of thing. Yeah.
So I may go back to it. It's just like, I like the two leads. That's the only reason why I would go back to it. So I'm on the fence with that one. And then there are dramas that we are currently still watching but have not gotten to. Otherwise we would have like a 5-hour episode. But Jack and Joker, it's still currently airing, and we're watching Doku Koi, which is a Japanese BL. The Shinsengumi, and then there's like another long title that I can't remember. That one is not a BL, even though someone on TikTok that I saw was like, oh, it's most definitely a BL. It's just not
labeled as such.
Yeah.
Or promoted as such, we'll say.
Yeah. So watch the first episode of it. I'm going to go back to it. I just haven't gotten back to it yet. Bad Guy, My Boss, which is one of those, like, it's not very good, but I'm fucking intrigued. Like, it's actually not good at all. And honestly, like, one of the actors' acting really needs work, but I'm gonna forgive that, and I'm just gonna keep watching it because the other actor is actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So then also a Taiwanese BL, First Note of Love. I'm currently watching that. We just haven't gotten to talking about it. But yeah, that is our episode.
So come back later on and we'll do maybe some full reviews of some of these ones we're in the middle of watching, the ones that we finish. And then maybe we'll just do some special shout outs of hatred towards the ones that we end up dropping that were mentioned in this episode.
Yeah, pretty much. But thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for listening.